Hey folks, this is Lonzo. It is 4:30. Yeah, we usually start about 6, but today I got something to do at 6, so I got to get up out of here, y'all. But I cannot leave you hanging in the meantime. Here we go, folks. Dusty, let's do this. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concert in the park. We're live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. We do this mostly on Tuesday, right around this time, most of the time, folks. But today, a little early, that's all right. It's still going down. It's still going down. What up, Dusty?
Lonzo, what's going on, my man?
Man, I got to give my folks a shout out. I got me a new little sponsor here, man, Fendi. They put a shirt on the brother today. I got to give them a little plug. One of my favorite companies make stuff for grown men, man. If you want to look good, check out the Fendi line, man. I love it. I got about 7 of these suits, man, suits and shirts and stuff. So they finally gave me a little affiliate hookup. So I got to give them a plug. Much love to you.
Okay. You said Fendi. How do you say that again?
COOFANDY.
Gotcha. Fendi. All right, cool. Yeah, make sure I put a little description down at the bottom. Looking fly, my man. How's your day going, dude?
Man, you know what? Everything is going good. I got a lot of stuff done today. I'm working on my prostate cancer walk. A lot of positivity around that, trying to save some lives and inform brothers. Go get checked. Dude, don't wait till it's too late. Don't fear the finger, man. Don't fear the finger. The finger is pretty much obsolete, but sometimes it may be necessary in cases of emergency. Don't let them folks scare you out of taking care of yourself. That's all I got to say.
Facts. I just had mine done in November. Once a year at least until they tell me different, man. I get my PSAs checked. I think I was at 0.4 last time.
Okay.
So I'm pretty good, apparently. I'm pretty good. So yeah, definitely encourage everybody out there to do that, man. I have friends who literally, Lonzo, they're my age, and they tell me, man, I ain't been to the doctor in 5-7 years. Man, I don't be going to the doctor. All right. All right.
And here's the mistake they make with high blood pressure and prostate cancer. Ain't no signs. When you get signs, you're damn near dead. Sign of high blood pressure is a stroke or heart attack. Sign of prostate cancer, you might have some bleeding. Johnny don't want to stand up no more. The soldier won't stand up no more. What's going on? Oh, damn. If I went to the doctor 6 months ago, a year ago, I could have fixed this. Nah, dude, don't play like that. You got too many people to depend on you. Go and get checked. Do a PSA. I'm promoting the PSA, a prostate specific antigen. And all it is, they pull draw some blood, send it to the lab, and they can check your PSA through that. And sometimes, in case of emergency, if it's not available, they may have to slide their finger in the back door for a hot second and see if they feel any lumps, anything like that. It don't affect your manhood. It don't break your anal hymen. Okay. So many brothers and men, they like, nigga, you still a virgin? Don't worry about it, bro. You still a virgin. Only I can say that on my show. Anyway, man, don't let these comedians joke you out of your health, man. That's something that I take very serious, because I realized even before I had prostate cancer, so many comedians would make jokes about it. Oh man, he didn't kiss me. He didn't take me to dinner. Man, get out of that bullshit. Okay, it's a medical procedure, and if you knew what women had to go through to get checked out for different diseases, this ain't nothing, dude. This ain't nothing. So get checked out for your checkout.
Man, facts. Pay attention, folks. Let's jump into it, Lonzo. A few things I want to cover this week and a couple things we didn't get to last week, but there's so much going on. But first things first, Keyshawn Johnson has a podcast, and I was listening to it mainly because a couple of members of N.W.A were on there. Arabian Prince, DJ Yella, and Lil EAZY also joined them. And it was a good show. I encourage everybody out there. Keyshawn Johnson, the football player from the 1996 draft, I believe. But it was an interesting interview. A couple things I would love to talk with you about and get your opinion on. Arabian Prince said that 2 of the main reasons N.W.A blew up was, he said they were doing good in the streets already and everything, but 2 of the main reasons, I'm going to give you the first one, and then we'll talk about the second one. We'll start with the first one. The first reason is why they blew up was because Don McMillan at Macola was bootlegging the hell out of the album, and they were way more popular than they even thought. Can you talk to us about what you know about that? Maybe give us a little history of Don McMillan, even your time dealing with him.
that was the business model for McCullough, man. You know, when I was doing doodles in Skateland, I'm getting phone calls from Texas, Louisiana. Hey, man, why don't you come out and do a show? Do a show about what? Yeah, we heard your records on the radio. What records on the radio? Oh, shit, that's right. Juice. Yeah, man, we want to play at this club. Want you to do this. How y'all here? But I forgot at that time, I had my McCullough had this label, had his number on the label. I had my number on the album covers, and people were looking at the album covers and getting in contact with us. And I'm like, I never sent no records to Louisiana or Texas. And then I realized what was happening. I talked to Swamp Dogg with some other folks in the game. He backdooring y'all, man. But again, I had a team around me that was able to, kind of slow him down, but you couldn't stop him because he would press all day long if he had to. He had a crew back there. They pressed records all night long. That's how me and Don fell out. I caught him stealing one day. I caught him red-handed. And I had to, what you saw Ice Cube do for Priority, Brian Turner's office, I did it first on McCullough. He got that from me. So yeah, he was notorious for that, man, because when you're taking a record is a blob of black vinyl. You put a label on both sides of it and you squeeze it. And when you squeeze it and that record, a licorice vinyl come out, that's what that label was called, licorice vinyl. When licorice pizza comes out and cools down, you just made $5. You might as well be printing money, man. You might as well be printing money. And if you got a hot song and a bunch of dumbass kids who don't know nothing about the record business, ain't no barcodes on the records. There wasn't no barcodes on records back then. There was no tracking devices we could tell our records were being sold at. Wasn't no sound scan to really track the sales of the record. It was just you press the record, you sell the record, you get paid. And Don took advantage of all of us, not just N.W.A.
All right, two-part question. How much did a record cost back then? Let's just say at the height of LPs, what was the standard cost for a record with, I don't know, 6, 8 songs or whatever, how many you ever had?
Here is the trip. It costs the same amount of money to press an album as it does a single. You're doing a single, same money. Only time it's more money in the production costs. You got more music to produce. So once you go to the studio and make them 6, 8, 6, 7 songs, the pressing cost is the same. Now, you got more costs when it comes to your album covers, more costs it comes to the actual production, but from the manufacturer standpoint, it don't cost no difference. So if you paying $1.50 per record, a lot of times that's what it was. It was the same $1.50 for a 12-inch single, or EP, or album. Same $1.50. It's just at the retail level, the price goes up. That's why the record business was so lucrative. You sell a million singles, and it costs you, I don't know, $175,000, but you can press a million albums and make, I don't know, $1 million off of the same investment. You just got to put a little bit money up front for studio time and stuff like that.
Okay, so you answered my question. So it costs about $1.50 back then to actually make an album, including label, blah, 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 all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you turn around and sell it for what, $15? What was an album like back?
Back when we first started doing underground mixes, Z-Rocks and scratch parties, it was like 79 cents to make it. We had white album covers. We had white covers. Bill Smith was real cheap. It was like 79 cents because it was almost little. By the time we got through the plating, it came out to about $1 a record. After everything was done, it was like $1 a record. We would sell them for $2.50. If you bought 50 or more, might be $2.25. If you bought 100, might be $2. Again, we just flipping them. We just flipping. It's like the bird, okay? We flipping folks. I don't want to keep them. The more I move, the more I make. So when you got to CDs, that's when the killer came in. Oh my God. Because CDs was listed for $19.99. The average CD in them long cases, back in the day, they was $19.99. It wasn't until they shrunk the case and put them in the little smaller cases, they went down to like $14.99. So if you're getting CDs made, CDs might cost you $3 because even though the production cost was a lot cheaper, they knew you was making more money on them, so they charge you more money to make them. So if you're making $7 a CD, because you sell a CD for $10 all day, wholesale. I have sold CDs as much as $11.50. I'd buy them for 10, sell them for $11.50, turn back around, and get a kickback on the 10, and keep the $1.50. Oh, it was beautiful. I'd get $1 per unit from one company, put another $1 on top of it. So I'm making $2.50 a record. All I'm doing is dropping them off. And
okay.
you ain't stolen for nobody. Everybody happy. Everybody happy. I'm elated. I'm fucking elated. Okay. That's why I always say the music business is still here, but the record business is gone. And I miss the record business. You didn't have to like the record to sell it. All you had to do was somebody who made it, somebody who wanted to buy it. I don't give a damn what it sounds like. And that's the beauty of the record business. You ain't got to like it to sell it. All you need is 2-3 parts. You, somebody want to buy it, and the second and third part, somebody want to sell it. After that, you good to go.
Okay. Speaking of record sales, let's get back to Keyshawn Johnson's interview that he did with Arabian Prince. Yellow was there, as well as Lil EAZY. And the second reason that Arabian Prince said N.W.A blew up so big was thanks to Tipper Gore going on a rampage against gangster rap, burning their tapes, steamrolling over them. He said that took their album sales to a whole other level. Talk to me about what you know about that time.
When that was going down, Doc, Tipper Gore was Al Gore. He was the vice president of these United States. She was his second lady, I guess you could call it. And she made a big stink about gangster rap. Her and C. Dolores Tucker made a big stink about gangster rap. And by her being the vice president's wife, she had even more national attention on the whole phenomenon of gangster rap. And like he said, rolling bulldozers and on the news every day. And what happened is it's the same thing that happens right now in social media. Okay, people hear about something and they keep hearing about how bad it is, and they want to experience what's so bad about it. So they go buy it. Today they go click on it. So the interest has been just redirected from record sales or buying it in the car or bootlegging it to going to YouTube or some other platform. And so why is everybody talking about this new song by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion? This is why. Click. Well, and back in the day, you had to go buy it to find out. So that's what made it blow up. And whether you liked it or not, you still had to buy it back then. You had to buy it. You had to, try and get a bootleg of it. And sometimes, even if you you go to Swap Meet was the biggest bootleggers in the world. They'll have the OGs and the bootlegs sitting on the same shelf.
If you can give a percentage of it, what percentage of artists appreciated the bootlegs, and what percentage of artists was like, "Oh hell, motherfucking no"?
Most of it was, "Oh hell, motherfucking no." Because you bootleg somebody's stuff, you don't get no money. They're actually stealing from you. That is the whole mindset of a bootlegger. He ain't paying no royalties. He ain't paying no publishing. He just selling music. He giving you what you want. And here's the bad part. I was a big bootleg buyer when I was a youngster. I bought a lot of bootlegs. I bought a lot of bootleg DVDs back in the day. But I never made a movie. So now that I make movies, I don't like bootleggers. Go figure. As you grow older, you change opinions on a lot of things. And that was one of them.
I'm the same. I was a tagger when I was a kid, tagged up probably did thousands of dollars of damage as a 12-year-old. But now somebody tags on my property, I want their fucking arm cut off. Things change, man. Hey, let's go back to that BG Knockout interview that we discussed last week. There was something I wanted to ask you, but we didn't get a chance to get into it. They discussed the biggest stars on Death Row Records, and there was a conversation about who the biggest star was on the record? Who was the most important star on the record? And the three names that popped up were obviously Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac. Who do you think, Lonzo, is or was the most important and significant member of Death Row Records at that time? Dre, Snoop, or Pac? Why?
I say Suge. Suge brought
Break
them
it down.
all. Huh?
Break it down.
Suge brought them all together. Suge snatched Dre from Ruthless. He got Tupac out of jail. He kept Snoop from going to prison. He wasn't an artist. He was a magician. Think about that for a minute. Dre was already locked into Ruthless, got him out of that contract. Snoop came to him with a murder beef, kept him from going to the penitentiary. Tupac was in jail and got him out of jail. You know, sometimes the artist may not be the star. The artist is out front, but somebody got to be in the behind the scenes to make things happen. And that's the part they don't give Grammys for that. They don't give awards. It's not an award show for bad motherfuckers. You just get you a check and go into oblivion. But somebody got to do the work. Somebody got to go pull the strings, find the money, do what has to be done to make something happen. Talent-wise, I've always felt Dre would probably be the biggest one because he's the common denominator with all of it, plus his own product. Dre would have to be the artist-wise, he'd have to be the pinnacle because, like I said, he is the one that produced the Dog Style. He's the one that produced Tupac's album, and he produced the Chronic, all of them on Death Row. That's what 10, 15 million records right there. He is the common denominator for all of that. But none of that would have happened without Suge.
Yeah. No, that's probably the best answer right there. You know, whether you like him or hate him, Suge Knight, Suge was special. Not too many people in the business have been able to do what Suge has done since, or even back then, or ever in the music business. You know, how do you think Suge was able to do all of the major things he did in the music business? And I wouldn't personally chalk it up to him going hard on everyone and hanging people over balconies, allegedly. You know, I'm sure he had to have another side of him to be able to talk with these label executives and market and fit in with certain crowds. How do you think Suge was able to take Death Row to be a $500 million business?
I think, one, he had a great production staff. He watched everybody else do what they did. One thing about Ruthless is they had a hell of a marketing campaign. Ruthless came out, they was going to go platinum. They bought every bench ad from Watts to the Valley. Death Row did the same thing. Billboard ads, bench ads. Suge also was able to keep enough controversy going. But this before the internet. He kept enough controversy going to keep him on the lips and kept Death Row on the lips of everybody in the hood and the valley. And he was always doing something that was controversial. And as you know, controversy sells. And the fact that he was a big old 6'3" bully at that time, he brought something to the game nobody ever seen before. He brought street intimidation with business sense, which is something that nobody ever saw before. They had no idea they didn't know how to stop him till it was later on. They couldn't stop him. He had money. He was making hits. He had the streets. Come on, man. When you're making money, people turn a blind eye to a lot of your shenanigans, for lack of a better word. Ask folks in the White House. When you got money and power, people turn a blind eye to your shenanigans, man. I just want to be, I want to get, I want to be down. He making money. I don't care what he did, how he got his money. All they know is he making money. And I want to figure out how I can get on this team to make something too. And whether that is executives, cats on the streets, or whatever the case may be. Oh, he in there bullying people. Man, as long as he don't bully me, I'm gonna get paid. And it's the same thing we experiencing right now in the White House. As long as everybody getting paid, they don't care about nobody else in the wake of what's going down. So, hey, he came into the game at a perfect time, had the hottest artists. He come out the gate with Snoop Dogg and Dre and Cube and Dog Pound. Everybody going platinum plus. Anybody did that since just Barry Gordy, man. And everybody figured, oh man, I can work with him. And you can't. By the time you realize it, it was too late.
Way too, yep. Now, what about Snoop? When Snoop first came out, what were your general thoughts on him? When I first heard him, I knew he was different. I was like, okay, this guy's different. And then obviously I ended up falling in love with his music. But what was your initial thoughts on Snoop when Snoop came out?
I didn't think a whole lot about him at the time. He was a tall, skinny kid, looking a little goofy. But I heard that 187 on the Undercover Cop from that soundtrack. I thought he had something a little different. And it wasn't until I heard Doggy Style, that I was really impressed. And that's just keeping it 100. I mean, the one track he did for Deep Cover, that was off the chain. But Doggy Style was something different, dude. Doggy Style was something different. And especially one of my favorite cuts off that album, Doggy Dog World. Come on, man. It's dramatics. Putting them two together, we ain't never had nothing like that before, man. Never. So you got a blend of old and new. Come on, man. That was hard to beat, dude. That was hard to beat. So he earned my respect completely.
Yeah, I remember the anticipation of that Snoop album. And I don't think, in my opinion, there's been an anticipation for an album like that since. It was such a good album, that Doggy Style and that Chronic, I remember. But another group that they came out, they were different, they were new. We briefly discussed them last week, and I wanted to ask you if EAZY E ever mentioned Bone Thugs and Harmony to you in casual conversation. And what did you think about Bone Thugs when you first heard them?
When I first heard about Bone Thugs, it was some guys who worked with Ruthless, worked with Eric, and was pissed off because somehow or another they were supposed to be in line for the production next. And Bones just came and cut the line. Man, we've been down with Eric forever. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm supposed to be here, man. These guys out of wherever, Ohio, come out here. They singing and whining and shit, man. And now he put them on the label. Man, it's bullshit. That's the first thing I heard about him. When I heard their music, oh, them niggas got something different. They got something different. And I ain't heard nothing like it since then. I know there's other people that claim to have something like it. It may sound similar, but it still ain't the same. It ain't the same.
Thank you, Tyree D. Good looking out. He says, before 93, Al Gore was a senator from Tennessee and Tipper was head of Parents Resource Center. Plus, Dusty don't like this one. Got 4 extra fingers you could spare. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, yeah. So I guess 4 extra. Did you hear about that guy who was on No Jumper who got his hand blown off for 4th of July?
I was talking about that earlier, man. Hey, man, I know I hate anybody to get hurt. But sometimes you do dumb shit, you get dumb results. I'm sorry, dude. I hate to see anybody get hurt. I don't wish nobody no bad luck. But folks got to stop doing. I bet you it's videotaped. I bet you it's videotaped. Somebody's recording that shit and it went wrong and they got him getting his hand blown off. I'm willing to bet you on film, on tape, video somewhere in the internet. I haven't seen it yet, but dude, let me say this about fireworks, man. Let me say this. I'm gonna say this from an old school perspective. We got Latinos running from ICE. Folks is talking about, are we gonna be next? Are the Asians gonna be next? What the fuck you celebrating freedom for? You ain't free. What the fuck you celebrating freedom for? You ain't free. You got your freedom may be in jeopardy next. Don't get me started on that, man. Please don't get me started on that. Okay, you out there burning up thousands of dollars, celebrating what? What you celebrating? You might need that money for something else. So I'm just that's just my perspective. I was sitting in the house last Friday, man. My windows is shaking. Boom, boom. I had to go my buddy's pad, and it looked like I just stepped into the Disneyland at 11:30. It was going down, and then I get home, man, and then the dog was barking, the alarms going off. Boom, no, I mean, I can't make the sound effect. This shit was so powerful. And I'm like, dude, what are you blowing up that makes windows crack? These are not fireworks. These sound like mortars going off, man. These sound like some serious artillery that people call them fireworks. And when you got that kind of reverb, like that kind of explosion, it's a whole lot could go wrong, Doc. It's a whole lot could go wrong. I remember blowing up as a kid, blowing up cherry bombs and M80s. M80 would tear a mailbox off the post. A M80 would tear a mailbox off blow the hinge off the door of the mailbox. M80.
He had an M1000, Lonzo. Could you imagine the power? He had an M1000 in his hand. Could you imagine the power of that?
That's dynamite. A M80 is 1/8, 1/4 stick, or the 1/8 stick or 1/4 stick of dynamite. I don't start me like it's a 1/4 stick of dynamite, eighth of a stick of dynamite. But you got an M1000, that's dynamite. That's a lot of explosive in anywhere near your body, man. And folks is out here just can't wait to burn up this money. I got to tell you the story, man. I think I told you before, but tell you again. I tell you every 4th of July. I was a kid. I sold fireworks. My daddy had a friend. He had a hookup, sell fireworks. I started off with little small packages, and I got the big packages, just like a dope dealer. I got up to skyrockets and started slinging cherry bombs. And cherry bombs was the shit back in the day. Then I started selling. I had a couple. He really wouldn't let me sell the M80s that much. He sold me a couple of them, but it was just M80s was a lot back in the day, dude. There was a lot, and cherry bombs were a lot, but they weren't as bad as M80s. And I must have made about $200 or $300 selling firecrackers. Took all that money and went and bought cherry bombs and skyrockets for myself. And my daddy says, "Hey, man, that was you've been hustling your butt off, huh?" Yeah. Back then, you get caught with firecrackers, you go to jail. You gonna get caught up. You get caught with the firecrackers and M80s back in the day, you're going to get. You finna have a ticket. You finna go to jail. You finna have a problem. Illegal fireworks was that serious back in the day, and we letting off skyrockets and having a good time. And my old man said, "Do you realize you just ran from the police or dodged the police?" So all them fireworks, illegal fireworks, and burnt up all the money. I felt about that big. You just burnt up all your money. I said, I did, didn't I? I felt so stupid after he told me that. You just burnt up all your money. And I never forgot that. And when I see cats talking about, I spent $2,500 on fireworks. I spent $5,000. You just might well said $5,000 on fire, man. And I don't understand it.
Living in an apartment, like, come on, man. That's going to a house or something.
I don't understand it. So I can appreciate the pageantry of fireworks, but the mindset and the cost of fireworks that we have gone through. Nah, dude. I tell you what. I looked at it off of the freeway. I was coming up the 405 to the 105, and on this side, all the Inglewood, it was lit up. The side by Torrance, I ain't see shit. Torrance and El Segundo, I ain't see nothing. That goes to show you something, okay? Somebody knows something. I'm telling you, dude, I saw this. I was coming over the freeway kind of fast, and I could not get my camera out to videotape this. If it had been at 5 o'clock, I could have videotaped. Hey, man, look at this. On one side of the street, it was going down like the Civil War. Other side, it was crickets. It was crickets. You might have saw a little something, but for the most part, it was crickets. And that just goes to show you the difference, man.
Yeah, that's so true, man. Yeah. So I don't know if you know much about this guy, 4Extra, Lonzo. He's a very entertaining guy, but he is he's still in the gangbanging life. He's still living the street life, allegedly, you know what I mean? And he's still really moving fast, in and out of jail. Like literally he'll come out for a month, go get locked up for 3 months, come out for 2 months, get locked up for 4 months. That's been his ordeal the past, 2 years that he's been on social media. And apparently him handling those fireworks alone, he could be in violation of his conditions. So he may end up going back to prison, jail, Lonzo. And one of his big things when he goes to jail is he comes out and he brags about how many squabbles he's had. man, I'll knock this dude out, I'll knock that guy out, I'll knock this guy out. So that's been his MO for the last whatever year and a half that he's been on social media. When I heard this story, Lonzo, and I didn't mean to laugh at it earlier because it's not funny, it's actually messed up. And just right before this video, Lonzo, there's videos of him lighting the M80 and lighting the M1000 in the car and throwing it out the window, just random people walking around in the street. So he's thinking this is all fun and games. Fast forward to him, now his hand's blown off. But I think this was God's way or the universe's, depending on what you believe. I think this was either God's way or the universe's way of telling him to slow the fuck down.
I tell you what, he won't be catching no fades. He gonna be having one-handed fades. Dude, that ain't gonna work. It's still, how old is homeboy? Anybody know?
He's 30 years old, Lonzo, which is like, come on, dog. I think by then you should kind of, if you're still excited by fireworks at 30 years old, it's explosives. Fireworks, I get in the sky, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But if you get excited by boom and that, and you're over like 19, I think that's an issue.
It's some stuff, some things I can't even wrap my brain around. I'm sorry. I can't. I would love to give you an educated thought or diatribe or summary on this right here. I can't. It makes no sense. You're 30 years old, you're still playing with fireworks, and you lose your hand, and now you got to GoFundMe to try and get some kind of help. Nah, man. Good luck, bro. I'm not mad at you, but good luck. I'll never diss anybody that has a problem like that. But the whole scenario is self-inflicted, and it makes no sense for you to be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully he gets better, and hopefully this is a lesson to him. But we're halfway through the show, so I'm going to ask everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel, you enjoy what you hear, you want some of that real West Coast hip-hop, you are tuned into the right place. N.W.A. Stories with Alonzo. Hit that subscribe button. You will get the best West Coast history knowledge that you'll get anywhere on YouTube, guaranteed. Let's continue, Lonzo. I would love to discuss, last week his name was brought up when we were talking about Eve After Dark and the 49th anniversary, 48th anniversary, something like that.
48.
7th? 47, okay, 48, okay.
48.
Can you talk about Unknown DJ's contribution to helping you run the Eve After Dark?
Unknown was my right-hand man. Unknown, he was there, and I had the conception for Eve After Dark. He was there at Alpine Village when Jeannie and I worked together, which sparked Roger to fire me from Alpine Village and led to us opening Eve After Dark. He was there from day one. And because he was day one cat, I gave him a concession, which was the bar. He ran the soda bar. Okay. Initially, he didn't run it. My sister ran it, and she got tired of being up all night long. And I gave it to him, and he took it and made some nice money with it. That was my way of showing my appreciation, because he also ran all the promotions. He also did a lot of curated a lot of the music for Eve After Dark. So he acted like a program director and a marketing director. We would come up with the flyers, get together, do the flyers. He would take a crew out. I'd take a crew out. Sometimes he would, after a while, he would take a crew out by himself. I mean, he would oversee the whole crew for the flyers and posters. So he was definitely like a vice lieutenant, vice president, or whatever you want to call it. But he was right there from day one.
You mentioned the 99-cent jam last week, and we didn't really get to dive too deep into that. I think you said it was successful and it turned a lot of things around for you. But what was the 99-cent jam at Eve, and what made you come up with that concept?
Man, back in the 80s, everybody had a 99-cent special. Burger King, not McDonald's, KFC. 99. Get so-and-so's the pack only 99 cents. And we like, let's try it. And we did it. It was 99 cents from 9 to 9:30. We'd make $300-something between 9 and 9:30. Between 9 and 9:30, anybody that was in line, that's the only way you had to be in line before at 9 o'clock. Dude, the line, Eve is right next to a gas station. We'd have to take the line and make sure it into a J shape or a U shape most of the time, and I had to put a guard in the middle so cats wouldn't let their homeboys or homegirls cut. Because at one point in time, we tried to go past the gas station driveway, and we ended up in the other driveway. We start going down El Segundo, and we had to make a right on Avalon, a left on Avalon, and we still blocking the driveway coming into United gas station. So we just made them double back, and that's how tough it was. But you had to be in line. You had to be in line at that time, before 9 o'clock. If not, you had to pay the regular price. But because people were so lined up, it was so thick. When at 9:30, the club is packed. The club only holds 300 people. So anytime you got a packed house, everybody want to be where everybody else is. So we make 300 by 2:30, and after that, these are all the youngsters now, because the youngsters, they come in, they out of there about 12. So now we still got a good crowd at 12, 15. Everybody still want to be there. That was only on Friday nights.
Okay. Sir Le Royale has a question. If anyone has any questions, post them in the comment section. I'll copy them and we'll get to them this second half of the show. But Sir Le Royale says, Dusty, ask Lonzo, does he remember doing monster rapping with Laylaw and Dre?
Monster rapping? Did I do that?
Yeah, he said, I just came across it, and I think it was before N.W.A. I'll look it up while you think.
Well, Laylaw was a big part of our team. Laylaw was like, man, that dude right there. I owe him an apology. I'm apologizing to him. He gone. Laylaw was one of the few people I left out of my book, and he was a major player. And I just hadn't seen him so long. I guess out of sight, out of mind. And when he called me to find out who helped me write my book was already finished. And I felt so bad because I didn't mention him in the book. I think I might have mentioned him slightly, but not a whole lot. He was a major, major player for a lot of stuff back in the day. Laylaw was a great writer, and he had a label called Rolex Records. Now, Sir Leroy, if that record's on Rolex Records, that's Laylaw's record. That's Laylaw's label. I don't remember I know I didn't do that on Crew Cut. Dre might have produced it because Laylaw and Dre was super cool. Laylaw was one of them cool dudes, man. He just was a real cool brother. Everybody liked him. He was just a cool, funny dude. And he had this always said shit like his hook line was, it's casual. It's casual. That was his hook. It's casual. Most cats say ride, or I'm all good. No, it's casual. It's casual. Okay, Laylaw. That was his shit.
R.I.P. Laylaw. We have a great show, actually, Sir Laylaw. If you're interested, we did a really good show, a tribute show to Laylaw the week that he passed away. So if you type in Alonzo Williams, Laylaw, somewhere in the search in the videos, I'm sure you'll find it. We brought a lot of his friends on, people he worked with, and it was a great show, in my personal opinion. Going back to Eve After Dark, Lonzo, you mentioned Agua Boogie was a musical nut at 12 midnight back then. Can you explain that?
Man, being a DJ that come from radio, I learned how to program. And what I mean by program is like programming is like having sex. You don't get your rocks off first, then go back for foreplay. You give them all this foreplay. You give them all the stuff that they like, but it ain't really what they want, and you just make them crave the hits. You make them crave it, and when you finally give it to them, they explode. And that's what Aqua Boogie and Flashlight was back in the 70s. Either one of them records will do the same and get you the same. You don't play them early. You play them at midnight when the club is when the spot is at its peak, and they've been jamming to everything else, and everything else is good. But boy, something about that bass hit, that Flashlight or that Aqua Boogie hit, man, dude, folks will lose their mind. Folks will lose their mind. And me and Roger would fight literally over who gonna play them records. And a lot of times I'd have to just cheat, and he get mad because I know he gonna pull the same thing every week. He gonna come up here about 11:15, 11:30, 11:45. I got it now. So I dropped that shit 11:15. Oh, he'd be mad. I told you I was gonna play Flashlight. Fuck you. I am not your opening act. No, I'm not your opening act. So yeah, That was, and it's different, man, because we don't have this record that kind of impact right now. Everything is kind of we don't have anything that I've heard that's really like, just make it go, damn. Boots on the Ground does it for the line dancers. I watch them. You hear that song? Here they come with the bands. And that was how Flashlight, that was our generation. How Flashlight, you gonna grab a girl, man. You gonna grab somebody and get on the floor. Girls come to look for you. And that's something we don't have a whole lot of in the music, because you have to understand the music, how it flows and how it affects the human soul. And if the same shit, blah, 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 there's no ebb and flow, there's no climax, there's nothing to make you just want to just get into it. And it's okay. It's like making love to a chick that's a starfish. You got your rocks off, but she ain't do nothing. She ain't get nothing back to you. Yeah, okay, yeah, I did it, but damn. And that's what we're dealing with right now musically. We got a lot of starfish music. It don't have no rhythm. It ain't throwing nothing back at you. It ain't giving you nothing to work with. It's cute. It's all right, but it ain't the shit. Flashlight, 50 years old, still one of the baddest songs you're going to play right now. 50 years old. Flashlight, 50 years old. Think about that. Is it 50? Is it 50? Yeah, 50. Well, I saw George Clinton and P-Funk All-Stars doing an off the porch last night. It's 46 years old. Flashlight is old as you are, okay? And you play it, people are going to go berserk right to this day. You play Flashlight, Aqua Boogie, or Knee Deep, and they're going to go absolutely berserk. I don't care what age it is. Folks are going to start sea walking. They're going to start doing somersaults. They 50 years old. You name me a record right now that somebody going to play 50 years from now, they'll get the same response. I kiss your ass on YouTube. I will kiss your ass. I will kiss your ass on YouTube live. You name me one song, gonna get the same response as Flashlight today that it did 50 years ago, and you got ass kissing coming on YouTube live.
You called them your. Going to another question. You called them your pre-Dr. Dre crew a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing Eve After Dark. Tell us about Ron and Roscoe and anyone else that was your pre-Dr. Dre crew.
I had a couple of cats. I had my boy Elegant Elston. He was there day one. Elegant Elston works for I think it's either Spotify or one of them one of those other radio stations right now. He did work for KBLA with Travis Smiley. He's still in the music entertainment building right to this day. Sweet Ron and Billy T, I met at a record pool. The R&B Disco Truth. They was up and coming DJs, and I grabbed them. Two cats out of prison. Both of them just got out of prison, and I put them on my team. Yeah, they was cool. Ron was from New York, and T was from Sacramento, and both of them did some time, 3-4 years on some bullshit, and I gave them a shot, along with Dr. Rock. Dr. Rock lived around the corner from me. Dr. Rock was the reason why you got the DOC. He and I grew up together. He grew up on Jarvis. I grew up on Carlton, and he wanted to be a DJ, and I gave him a shot. Those were, and Unknown, of course. Unknown was right there from the very beginning, and Billy T and Ron, they were okay DJs. They were not terrible. Dr. Rock was my main cat when I wasn't. If I didn't feel like playing, Dr. Rock would usually play my slot till Yella came on. And all these guys left for different reasons. Ron, he moved back to New York. He just disappeared on us. One day he wasn't there, and nobody ever heard from him again. Billy T moved on. We got it. He and I had an issue about a girl that he liked it, but she liked me, and he left, and he died recently. Rest his soul. Dr. Rock is still doing well in New York. In Texas. He's in Texas, and Unknown is somewhere in Riverside doing what he do. But yeah, all them cats were pre-Dr. Dre, and that's the crew that nobody talks about because nobody knows about it. We got a couple of pictures together. It was one picture Me, Ron, Dr. Rock, and Unknown, all in zoot suits that people like. They thought we were actually wore that shit every day. That was a Halloween party. We did not wear those zoot suits every damn day. There was a Halloween party. It was a zoot suit party that we had. We went to Hollywood and rented zoot suits. That's how we did it back in the day. We would just go rent some shit. That's why if you look at some of my videos, you'll see girls dancing with gorillas and bears and shit. I'd go to Hollywood and rent costumes, real costumes, and I call them the party animal. I had a tiger, a gorilla, and a bear. I had them costumes on reserve every week for doodles, and I didn't do it even after dark. I just did it at doodles, and it was something. I threw something in there to make it more fun. And here that's a picture right now. I got a couple of pictures of girls slow dancing with gorillas and shit. Okay.
Damn. You DJ Ruthless Kens wants to know, did EAZY know any of those guys?
Nah.
Okay.
I was way before that time. We talk about 1979, man.
Oh yeah.
These guys were there when I opened the doors up Eve After Dark. 1979 to about 81, 82. They was there when I was going through the hard times. When they was trying, and I was getting tested weekly. They watched me go to jail a couple times at Eve After Dark. Dre don't know nothing about none of them stories. They watched me go to jail a couple of times at Eve After Dark because I was defending my shit. At least I thought I was, and ended up in handcuffs.
Going back to the hot artists at the time and the musical nut at 12 midnight. Someone mentioned Rick James. How big was Rick James at his height?
Rick was the shit. Rick was the shit, but he wasn't George. Rick was the shit, but he wasn't George. Rick, You and I, Mary Jane was a good song, but it wasn't Flashlight. You and I, Mary Jane, what else? Give It To Me, Baby. All of them was great songs. Folks would get out there and do the gigolo to all that. Give It To Me. It was a great gigolo song. Then when Rick dropped the extended version, and it just hit with that kazoo sound and shit. Oh man, that rocked the shit out the club. But you had to get to it first. That the remix, because back in the day, when it was a certain point in the song, when you got the extended version, they may do 5 minutes of regular song, then they start dropping the bass out or dropping the kicks out or adding different instruments. Oh man, that's when the shit would get kicked up. That's when they would go super live, because now, oh my God, there it is. Da, 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 da. They have a ball doing that shit, man. But you got 3 minutes of regular song before you get to the shit. Parliament Funkadelic, nigga, the first metronome is let's go. Different situation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I would love to know what you think of this comment, Lonzo, to kind of maybe wrap it up and start winding down a bit. We got about 12 more minutes, and if anybody has any comments or any questions for the Godfather, post them, and we'll try to get to them today. But I recently interviewed a former gang member, and he told me that before a mission, he would pop in a gangster rap tape, and it got him hype. To get pumped up, he would literally put in a gangster rap tape. And he said once he listened to that music, his mind was ready to go do what he had to do. And looking back, he feels like that music inspired a lot of what he did. That eventually landed him in prison for years. I've asked this question to you several times in the past, but I'm going to try to phrase it a little bit differently. Is it okay for someone to blame what happened to them, banging, going to prison, all the above, on the music they listen to?
If you can blame the Isley Brothers and Barry White for making babies, why not? If you can blame Barry White, Isley Brothers, Temptations, Dramatics for making babies, why not? They do it all the time. Oh man, I remember that Isley Brothers Footsteps in the Dark at the movies, drive-ins. Man, me and homegirl, that's that. I know she was pregnant. Dude, music is one of the most powerful art forms known to man. It can bring you up, bring you down, and make you do things you don't even think you're capable of doing. And it's just like I said, if you can do one, why can't you do another? I tell you what he didn't do. He didn't put no Isley Brothers to go do don't put no work in. He ain't put no dramatics in to go do no work. He didn't do that because it don't motivate you to do that. Perfect example. My club, Current Affair, Inglewood, 234 West Manchester. Now it's a Millennial shoe store right now. If you ever go to Inglewood, you see a Millennial shoe store right there on the corner of Eucalyptus and Manchester. That was my club. And I had the Inglewood the Queen Street Bloods would come through there because my bartender's girlfriend, she was one of the home girls, and they would come from time to time. And this is when gangster rap was at its peak. And when I noticed when I played gangster rap, I'd always have a problem. So I stopped playing gangster rap about 1:15. I started playing cha-chas. I started playing Arrested Development. And everything was smooth. Everybody go in their car and hang out. And what I realized, Ben, two things I realized. One, for 1:15, 1:15 is last call for alcohol. So you got two things happening. Folks are either trying to get their last shot in or they're coming down off what they had. Liquor don't treat everybody the same way. Some people, when they come down, they get angry. Some people get angry when they get hot. When they get higher. So now you got gangster rap, you got high or coming down, and you just send them pumped up on some Cube or some Tupac or some Biggie, or whatever the case may be, and they ready to go at it because they pumped up. Meanwhile, take that same dude, that same girl, and give her some Isleys, give her something that's going to chill them out. Some I'm everyday people. Some that the rest of the development, they're going to float their ass out the club. They're going to keep right on going. They're going to keep right on going. They're going to keep right. They're going to get in their car. They're going to go home. Because music has that kind of influence, that kind of power. And most people don't know what they're messing with when they're making music.
It's a spell, man. It's a spell. And we talked about it being magic, just coming from nowhere. I mean, it's the best way to describe it. So be careful with that spell that you use, because it's definitely a spell. Sir Laurel wants to know, Lonzo, did you stay by a gang set? Break it down, Lonzo.
I lived in Anson's. I grew up in Anson's Park. Skateland and Doodles was right next to Pyru. I mean, literally, if you hop the fence from from Doodles, you're gonna land in the Pyru boys' backyard. My club at the Inglewood, the Current Affair, was right around the corner from the Queen Street Bloods. I didn't grow up in the Blood neighborhood. I mean, I never gang banged, but I was always around. I had to deal with them. I had to, negotiate and just be cool, because I'm in business, and business and gangster don't really mix, man. It don't really mix. I remember when I first got to the Current Affair, it was right after the '92 riots, and I'd been working with some anti-gang folks, and we would go out to the parks and speak. Had PA systems the whole 9 yards, and I noticed it was cops everywhere. It was cops everywhere, always with video cameras. And when I got to get my liquor license for the Current Affair, I had to go through a background check. The Inglewood PD called me and told me, we have live video footage of you at a gang rally, and our intelligence says you are a Rolling 60 Crip. I said, hold on. First of all, you can't put that on me over here in Inglewood. You're going to get me killed. Second of all, you may have saw me speaking, but you ain't saw me speaking no pro-gang shit, because I don't do that. I said, check your intelligence before we have a problem. Because if you tell these fools around here that I'm supposed to be a Rolling 60 Crip, I can get killed. I said, I appreciate if your intelligence do some research and be a little smarter about what kind of labels you want to put on somebody. And I guess they thought about it, and I got my liquor license. But yeah, they was trying to put that jacket on me.
Yeah, man. Don't want to be called a Rolling 60 in that area. That is for damn sure.
Go get me killed and that shit. Dude, no. But that goes to show you kind of misinformation that a cop can put on your ass. And dude, all they gotta do is get somebody busted. You got a Rolling 60 Crip in the club over there, and that's the you got a problem. Dude, what are you talking about? Why are y'all trying to shoot me? So I corrected that shit immediately, and I said, dude, your intelligence can't be that smart because I ain't never did that shit, but if my associations are gonna get me caught up, get the right color, because I don't gang bang, but I know these guys from these sets because my businesses have put me in this situation.
Yeah. Art Chavez wants to know about some of the rap contests that you held at Eve After Dark, Lonzo.
I held the first rap contest. It was, dude, back then rap was so new that the contests were highly anticipated, man. I mean, dude, on a finals night or even a semifinal night, dude, they came from all over the place. People in the club would be packed, and you'd have at the 12 o'clock. That's when I would do the rap contest. I do it about 11:30 because a lot of people's parents was picking them up about 12. And dude, people got in trouble. I had many a daddy at the door, mama at the door. Tell so-and-so, get her ass out of here. But the rap contest was so anticipated, man. And that's how I met clientele. And clientele was one of the first cats that I met at that time that included crowd participation in his rap. And this dude was one dude, his name was MC Bear. Bear was a bad boy. Bear had, this is how rappers were back in the day. Bear had fur sleeves. He had fur sleeves like a grizzly bear, brown fur sleeves that he would put on his shirt, and that was his gimmick. And he won all the way to the semifinals, and then clientele came up, and he brought in that his crowd participation, all them say hoes and blah blah blah, and won the money. That's how the contest, the Eve After Dark rap contest, dude. We didn't have no artists to go get and bring to the club, so we had to create stuff for people to get involved in, and it was like a soap opera, like wrestling almost. We had to create that wrestling vibe in the club, so we would do rap contests, we would do pop locking contests, we would do breakdance contests, we would do singing contests, and we knew who was going to be in them, and we didn't know who was going to win. We knew who the crowd favorites was, and that just made it that much interesting. But people would pump up they people to come support them because everything we did was judged by crowd participation. I didn't make no decisions, none. And the Freak of the Week contest probably was the biggest contest we ever had. Freak of the Week contest was like a twerking contest back in the day, but this one chick, she got naked. Scared the shit out of me. We had these three girls came to the club, the Freak of the Week contest, and Knee Deep was the contest. That was a song. And Freak of the Week wasn't no big deal. If you see my documentary, Eve After Dark on Tubi, I'll tell the story again, but it's a little bit more. My first Freak of the Week is in my documentary, Lisa. But this girls came in after Lisa, and man, these three girls, bikini, they had it ready. They would come out in bikinis, and this one chick, she wasn't all that hot, body wasn't all that cute. My face wasn't all that cute, but she had a decent body on her. And man, she messed around there. I turned my back, and the crowd went crazy. I turned around, she was standing on stage, butt naked, butt ass naked. Oh my God. Just so happened, I used to show movies in the club. I had a sheet, a real sheer sheet that I would reflect the movies off of. Because one side it was going backwards, other side it was going forward. I snatched the sheet off the wall, off the thing, put it around the girl, and took her to the office. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Needless to say, she won the money. Now, here's my problem. She got R'd about 3 or 4 days later. She got arguilled, okay, about 3 or 4 days later. And the guys told the detectives that she got naked at Eve After Dark, and I was running the teenage strip club. Yeah. Teenage strip club. How the fuck that gonna work? Yeah, I got in trouble, but I was begging for my life, dude. And the cop was cool enough to understand what happened, and I didn't get in no trouble. But man, that was a tough time of my life. Jeffy heard about this shit, dude. I was about to lose my club. She got naked. I didn't tell her to get naked. Well, you paid her. You gave her $100. She won the contest. Hey man, we got to go, dude. She won the contest.
Oh man, damn. Good shit, Lonzo. Any last words? You want to hit him with that outro?
Hey man. For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until he got cold. On the eve after dark, 50-yard line to Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bull, because it was all crap. Cat. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A stands for not without Alonzo. Peace, y'all. We out.